Hi, Vanessa Wesley here with theweeklywhisper.com. Sitting here having an afternoon cup of coffee and wondering what the Weekly Whisper is going to be when I had this memory of something that happened earlier today, and I thought, this would be a good message. You see, what happened earlier today was my husband made a suggestion that he was thinking was a good idea, and he was sharing this idea with me. But the idea didn't feel like such a good idea to me. And immediately I felt this constriction inside of me, this sort of warding off. I didn't even want to hear his suggestion. In fact, I could feel the stress rise up in me to the point where my hearing turned off. Did you know that when you're feeling stressed about something, one of the first sensory pieces of information to shut down is your hearing? You actually cannot hear what the other person is saying. And, so I saw his mouth moving and I couldn't receive the information because the suggestion was untenable to me. I didn't like the suggestion. And I ended up having to go someplace and run an errand. And while I was running the errand, I was asking myself, so what is it that is really bothering you about what he is suggesting that we do? And without getting into the details, because I want to keep this very short and I want to really drive home the true message here, I simply did some inquiry work. I know that when I feel the discomfort, there is something that I am believing that isn't true. And that discomfort and that constriction is the whisper's way, our guidance system's way of letting us know that we are not listening to our inner guidance, but instead believing something that we are misunderstanding. And I immediately found what that was. And it was really petty, to be honest. It was a belief that was so petty that it was actually hard for me to admit that I was holding it. But there it was. And when I looked at that belief and did a little inquiry around it, asking whether that thought or that belief was really true, and what is happening to me, and asking myself, so what is happening to me as I believe that belief to be true? And I saw that I immediately shut down. I feel so uncomfortable. And then turning that belief around. This is Byron Katie's work, by the way. Turning that belief around and asking, so how would you handle this? Who would you be without the belief that what your husband is suggesting is something that you do not want? And I found it immediately. I found that what I would be pure joy and pure peace. And as soon as I had that realization, the constriction fell away. It dissolved. It was like, I told my daughter, who was sitting actually next to me as I was talking this through with her, I said, it's like fog, it's like mist. All of a sudden it just sort of evaporated and dissolved. And it took me the time of doing this errand to go through this process, a full 13 minutes. Now, what is 13 minutes to you? You see, this is something that I could have maybe spent 13 hours going through. I could have held the constriction and the stress for 13 days or weeks or months or years. People aren't talking to one another. There are people who aren't talking to their families and haven't done so in years. So what is 13 minutes? In 13 minutes, my guidance system and your guidance system can bring you from stress to peace. Is 13 minutes worth it to you? It's not easy work, but it is the best work and truly the only work we're really here to do, and that is to tune in, find out what is keeping us from feeling love, turn it around, and bring ourselves back to the peaceful, joyful nature of who we really are. That's the reason why we listen to our inner guidance system. I hope this helps this week. 13 minutes, that's all it can take. One day, it won't even take me 13 minutes. Bye for now.